My name is Ron Heifetz, and it's a real pleasure to be with you right now and to introduce the Collaboratory that we'll be doing in just a couple of weeks' time. I've been exploring how to think about the practice of leadership, as well as how to teach leadership over the last 41 years here at Harvard Kennedy School. I'm sitting in my office right now in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I consider this to be an extraordinarily exciting and wonderful frontier to be explored, because even though this is an ancient area of life and practice, nevertheless it's a fairly immature area of study and analysis, and one extremely important and exciting to get to be working on. It's been a great life and a great career working on these issues. The topics we're going to be addressing in the Collaboratory are, I think, pretty central to the viability of democracy, but even more broadly, the viability of any growth and development process towards justice and towards the greater public good in any structure of government. And we'll be exploring several key issues. I think the first key issue that we'll be exploring is the concept of leadership itself. It turns out that the concept of leadership itself carries with it a lot of key assumptions about the nature of the social contract. What should be the relationship between people and those who govern? I'll be presenting some key distinctions between leadership and authority, and analyzing the nature of trust in all authority relationships, and the critical importance of resetting some of those bases of trust between citizens and their political authorities. So we'll then talk about the identity then of a citizen versus the identity of a customer, and the nature of identity itself. And lastly, we're going to touch on the nature of change processes themselves, and speak from a political point of view about the marketability of a message that honors and builds from a culture and a history and a tradition, rather than is so enamored with one's own change agenda that one ends up trashing people's history and values and culture. And we'll look at with a finer lens at the nature of change processes, and distinguish between those that truly are sustainable, because in fact, if we look historically, they have built from the past. They don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. They're as conservative as they are transformational. And a political message that speaks to what we want to conserve and not only what we want to change is, I think, a much more viable political strategy when you're asking people to buy certain changes that do ask them to tolerate sometimes painful changes in their lives or in their tradition. People are willing to suffer, but they need to see the reason why. And those reasons why are often embedded in tradition and history. So those are some of the key themes that we'll be exploring in the Collaboratory. And I hope these will be orienting to all of us who are involved in politics, not only in this critical political season, but over the long term as well.